What is going on, YouTube? It is Brianna back here again with another YouTube video. So I've got my handy dandy journal here with me. This is a journal that I kept with me all the way through boot camp. It's a pretty basic black journal. It's got lines, and then it's got a pocket in the back where I basically stuffed everything in there, but it's got a lot of pages. Bought it from Walmart for like $8, really cheap, and I was able to take it with me into boot camp. So from the journal, I was in boot camp for just about 8-ish weeks, give or take. I was about 8 weeks. As many of you guys know, my ship out date was the 2nd. A lot of what happens in the first part of boot camp is mainly P days and like week 2. That's kind of like the bulk of it. But yeah, so starting from the very first day, I'm literally reading like out of my journal to try and like jug my brain about it. But yeah, my night of arrival. So at the hotel, I left from Houston MEPS. As you have seen from MEPS in my previous videos, we woke up at 3:30 a.m., 03:30, really early in the morning. We had to be checked out by 04:30, and then we were at MEPS by around 5 a.m. There we had our height, weight, and tape. It was basically the same type of physical that you went through when you did like going into depth, but mainly it was a height, weight, tape for us. That's really all I have down that I could remember. Basically it was a lot of sitting around and waiting. We had our travel briefing not too long after that. We broke for lunch, and then we had our travel brief, which was we went to this other room that was right next to the swearing room, and you got your plane ticket. They explained to you like how the airport works and all that, because usually a lot of people, this is their first time in the airport, and they don't want you getting lost, even though they have a bunch of people around to make sure that you aren't getting lost. We were assigned team leaders, and then we were assigned in groups, depending on what branch you were going to and what training command you were going to. So we swore in. We did our last swear-in at MEPS. I wish I had the video for it, but I have no idea where that video is, or even if it's on Facebook. But yeah, I swore in for the very last time until I went to boot camp. Then I left MEPS around 12:30 p.m. to head to the airport. And that means like we were about maybe an hour and a half from the airport, so we got there around 2. I had a Whataburger for my very last meal before boot camp. We had Whataburger because we were waiting like 4 hours for the flight. Had a United flight, United Airlines, and then we took off at 4:20 p.m. Somewhere here I have like my actual like airline ticket that I'm gonna like keep, I guess. I know that's kind of weird, but like memories. We left at like 4:20 p.m. We didn't land in Chicago until around 7. So it was a little bit of a flight from Texas. We went straight from the airport straight to the USO. And then that's kind of where like you started to realize like where you were. Personally, like that's where everything kind of started to hit me. So we were at the USO, and then when we went to the USO, we kind of like stood around. It was weird. They took our foot measurements at the airport. So they made us take our shoes off, and then like they made you stand on like those foot machines you see at Walmart, and it like measures like your arch in your foot and stuff. And then they got the sizes of our feet, and then they made us show like our IDs, if we had our COVID vaccination cards, to show that too. And then they put us in ranks, like crisscross applesauce. And then as the sun was starting to go down, started getting later and later, and like it was like around like 9 o'clock ish, and then they were like, hurry up, run up the stairs, run up the stairs, run up the stairs. And so running down the stairs, and they're like, get on the bus, get on the bus, get on the bus, like what you see on Making the Sailor. And so here we are, we're like running onto the bus. And then we get a brief by a petty officer on our bus to RTC Great Lakes. And so while we're on the way, a lot of people are half asleep. It's kind of late, and CO's Top 6, RTC Maxim, Chain of Command, all that stuff is like on repeat on this little TV that's in the bus. And we're getting briefed on the same thing before we go to RTC. We got to RTC. It was about an hour-ish ride from the airport. It was a little less than an hour. I honestly could not remember. and we went straight into what's called the Golden 13. There's a big sign and stuff when you get there, but it was technically the Pearl Harbor. It was another side to the Pearl Harbor, and when you walk in, it's just like making a sailor. Don't step on the flags, run, 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 run. Don't step on the flags, get off the bus, get off the bus. You know, blah, blah, blah. And we're like all running with our backpacks and stuff. And first thing, line up on the flags, take out your phone. I want you to read this script, hang up the phone. Don't say anything more, don't say anything less. And so you're sitting there with your little card. I have arrived at RTC Great Lakes. I will contact you in 3 weeks. And so I called my mom, and my mom had been anxiously waiting for my phone call. But yeah, call your parents. Call somebody who, you know, cares about you, stuff like that. Say what's on the card, and then they immediately tell you to turn your phone off. And then you go straight into your Ditty Bag Issue. So you'll go into Ditty Bag Issue. You'll get a box. There'll be a cardboard box there. It's a pretty big box, to be honest with you. It's about the size of like a medium moving box. I really can't give the dimensions because I have nothing around to compare it to, but it's a pretty decently sized box. Like if you brought a backpack or a duffel bag, it'll fit, if that makes sense. So we went to Ditty Bag Issue. That's where you get all of your clothes, your socks, your shoes, your Smurfs, your blue PT shirt, your shorts, bra and underwear. Women, ladies, if you do not know your bra size, be prepared to get yelled at for not knowing your bra size, because they're not going to take the time out of the day to sit there and figure out your own bra size. Personally, I didn't know mine, so I just gave them the size of the girl that was in front of me because we looked kind of the similar size, and that's what I got stuck with through boot camp. So just be mindful of that. That's one of the many recommendations I can give, is to find out your bra size if you're unsure, or if you just don't really know. Definitely figure it out. Just try to be calm when you're writing on the box, because everybody gets scared. I know I messed up on my box like 2 times. It was it was all kinds of horrible. But yeah, so just don't freak out as much as you can. It's gonna be scary, but like those people do that every night. And they immediately like strip you naked, and you have to change into everything else. So you gotta change like your underwear, you gotta change your bra, you gotta change your socks, put on your Go Fasters, put on your Smurfs, your yellow t-shirt, and like everything else goes straight into your box. And they don't really check what goes into your box. They just tell you what you can and can't have in that box, if that makes sense. But they're not going to go around and check you individually to see what you're putting in the box, unless you make it something obvious. Like obviously if they see you with a laptop trying to put it in your backpack that they give you, like they're going to obviously see that. So yeah, like this, you can bring it, just put it in your backpack. Don't make a big deal out of it. Yeah, and then we got weighed and taped again, and then we lined up, and then we got on another bus, and then this bus bussed us to where like the ROM was, one of the ROM ships, and then we stayed there, and then we got there, we unpacked, and then I slept. By the time I wrote this, it was 0040, night of arrival. So the next day, it was pretty much like ROM. So we got to like shower, we kind of got to clean a little bit, did some laundry, but we did like PT. We got to go outside and see some other divisions that were marching. Little did I know that those divisions were actually going to be marching. They were actually marching to the ship I would be going to, not even a week later. So that was pretty cool. That was also the day I volunteered for RPOC. Long short story. But yeah, getting into P days. So I got moved into the Pearl on August 3rd. So literally like the day after I got there, I got moved into the Pearl, which is basically like the P days ship. So all of your P days are going to take place in the Pearl. Everybody in the Pearl is P days. And so you're not going to go to an actual like ship. That's on the different side of the base. Pearl is on one side of the base. So yeah, P1. We woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. That was our reveille. We had our haircuts, cat card issue, urinalysis, moment of truth. Me, because I'm a nuke, we had our meeting with the nuclear coordinators. If you were like SWIC, or like Spec War, or any of like the high intelligence fields, CT, I think it's the IS, and those other places, you got to speak with your coordinators for that. And then we also got to meet from Armed Forces and Navy Federal for banking. And then we got a brief about the COVID vaccine, because they did offer the COVID vaccine in boot camp. For those that didn't already have their vaccine, or they weren't fully vaccinated. So they had one dose but needed another one. That was the day that I also learned what ship I was going to be in, and then when my graduation was supposed to be. So I figured out I would be in ship 14, the Arizona, and that my graduation would be the 1st of October. The haircuts, pretty straightforward. If you wanted a haircut as a female, you were given a haircut as a female, whether that was cutting your hair really short or giving you that weird Dora Bob thing going on. I would suggest to not get your hair cut if you have long hair, but obviously it's your choice. I chose not to cut mine. My hair was already kind of short, but it was enough to where I could wrap it in a bun, so I just went ahead and kept it. And then cat cards, you're gonna get issued your little military ID. It's gonna be the most horrible picture you ever taken in your whole life. Don't try to look cute. It's not gonna be cute. And yeah, that'll become like your ID for like your rest of your military career. And you can't get your new picture taken until you make petty officer. So for some of you guys, it might be 6 months. Some of you guys, it might be 2 years. Your analysis, we did get our P test done that day. So it was really early in the morning. It was one of the first things we did. They make you go in this room, and it has like 6 toilets in there. And it's just toilets on the floor. Like, it's just toilets. No like barriers, no nothing. And they give you your little cup, and they're like, all right, just go sit and pee. So yeah, you pretty much get where that's going. And the moment of truth, it was pretty simple. They kind of ask you a bunch of questions, and they're like, hey, stand up if this applies to you. 100% truthful. If you told a lie, be ready and be prepared to explain. If not, we just keep moving forward. Yeah, I got yelled at a lot that day. So P2 was a Thursday for me. I got fired as RPOC. Yeah, that's it for that one. We went to the Red Rover. So the Red Rover is the kind of P-Days medical. So it's the USS Red Rover. It's a medical building. That's also where you have dental and optometry as well, and female wellness. So we did get our blood drawn. Some of you guys with special contracts, you might be asked to give more blood or pee more, because we also had to pee again that day. But yeah, I got my blood drawn, and then we got shots, I think, that day also. We went to uniform issue. I got fired after uniform issue, but uniform issue, we got to try on the camo. So your type 3s, and then we got to try on boots, our parkas, our ball caps. I think that was it. Oh, we got our brown shirts, I think, and like boot socks. It was like the bare minimum. That was also the day I personally took my depth test. I took my depth test that day because I didn't take it on P1. P1, you're supposed to take your depth test, but I took it P2. It was pretty easy. The depth test is pretty straightforward. If you studied your start guide, it's pretty much right there. Mainly it hits a lot on rank and recognition, chain of command. Well, mainly is rank and recognition and your general orders, but your chain of command is going to be extremely important when it comes to boot camp. So definitely study that. Google it if you need to. a lot of stenciling that day, because when you get new uniforms, you're gonna have a stamp kit, and you're gonna have your little stamps. It's gonna have like your last name, your initials, and then your division number. So you're basically gonna be stenciling every single thing you wear. Your boots, from your boots to your socks to your skivvies, which is your underwear, to your bra, to your covers, to your hats. Basically everything you put on your body, or that can be stolen, is going to be stenciled, including your Blue Jackets manual, training guide, stuff like that, and your water bottle, your hydration tool as well. Yeah. P3, we went back to medical, and that's when I got my eye exam done. Obviously, the real ones know, your girl is blind. I actually got told I hit a -6 in boot camp on my right eye, so your girl blind. So if you wear glasses, or they tell you that you failed the initial 2020 vision exam and tell you you need glasses, you'll be issued glasses. I was on a special order for my glasses because they were so high in prescription that I didn't get them issued to me that day, or even the following days. I had to wait like 2 weeks to get them. But yeah, it's basically like a regular eye exam that you would get at the optometrist, the civilian optometrist. It's basically the exact same thing. He just kind of looked at my eyes a little bit longer, if that makes sense, took more pictures. We had our jobs assigned to our division that day, so I might touch a little bit more into the jobs in a different video, but everything from RPOC, yeoman. So RPOC, yeoman, which includes medical, dental, and regular yeoman, main yeoman, sorry. Port and starboard watch, section leaders. We didn't have a head PO, male PO, athletic PO. We didn't get our POs yet, but just like the main few people. And then we went to class that day. We learned about the Montgomery GI Bill and the post 9/11 GI Bill. And then so the weekends. So I know that like this is gonna get kind of confusing, but like in the video you hear me refer like P1, P2. So when you're in boot camp, your weeks aren't exactly by the weeks. So your weeks aren't Monday through Sunday, or Monday through Monday, or Friday to Monday, Friday to Thursday, I mean. It's based on 5 days. So like I got there Monday, but I didn't start P days until Wednesday. So that's P1. And so it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it'll be one tech. 2, 3, 4, 5. And the thing about the weekends is that the weekends don't count. So like P3 was my Friday. Well, Saturday isn't going to be P4. It's going to be P-Sat, and then P-Sun, and then it's going to be P5 on P4 on Monday, because it skips around the weekends, if that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain without like showing a calendar. That Saturday we started wearing our combat boots. We kind of learned how to make our beds. So you make your rack. So like if you see how our racks are done behind this, not going to be the same thing you do in boot camp. You're going to have like certain ways you got to fold things, and there's certain creases you got to get, and your pillows got to be dressed a certain way, and the zippers got to be down, and Ketchum's got to be down, and all that. And then how to put everything in your rack, so how to fold everything and actually put it inside of your rack. Because at boot camp, you get what's called an A and B drawer. So these like yellow tabs, these are kind of like A and B drawers. But you only get one. You only get one A and B drawer. And these are significantly bigger. Your A and B drawer in boot camp is probably about half the size of this one, if that makes sense. And to put it into perspective, like it's probably going to be like this. If that makes sense. And then for boot camp, like your rack, like here, it'll actually open up. It'll actually open up, and then you'll have all that space in there to put your uniforms. But your A and B drawer is the only place where you can actually store any personal items that you have, to not include your uniforms. So yeah, and we did some marching. You'll learn how to start marching. We learned how to make deck logs because we were going to start learning how to stand watch. So P4, I forgot to write P4, so I wrote it on P5, but I did have my first sets of watches that 2 days. So P4 is the day that we moved into our ship. So we did our physicals. I had to get a special physical for being a nuke, so we actually got to leave earlier than the rest of my division to go to our ship. So we had to walk the Trail of Tears, which is the walk from the Pearl to your ship. And ship 14 is the longest way away from the Pearl. So it was the most grueling walk. Little did I know we were going to have to keep doing that walk, because it's the second time you do that walk. But yeah, we had to wear our sea bag, plus our backpack, plus our Garmin bag. It was crazy. I've never held the Garmin bag like that before, so it was quite crazy. But we marched with our sea bags, and it was absolutely pouring. It was pouring. It absolutely kind of destroyed my COVID card because I left it in my sea bag. So please put your important information in your clear pocket of your backpack, so that it doesn't get damaged like mine did. We got to wear our Type 3s, so that was the first day that we actually had to wear like our Type 3s. I felt a little out of uniform with just my shirt on, so you guys can get the full view and bask in the US Navy. But yeah, we got to wear our Type 3s. So these are what you're called, your Type 3s. A certain senior chief calls them guacs. So if you refer to these as guacs, these are your guacs. Type 3s, your camis, whatever they call them. But yeah, these are your Type 3s. So you'll wear this brown shirt, boots, blousing straps, black boot socks, and you'll wear your recruit ball cap. You won't get your fancy apron cover. But yeah, so we did that. And then I ran my PFA Tuesday. So I ran my PFA P5. So to get into the baseline PFA. So the baseline PFA is a little weird, not gonna lie. I was told many things before leaving for boot camp. I was told it was a pacer. I was told it was a run. I was told it was, you didn't have to run. I was told all this weird stuff, right? So at boot camp, your initial PFA is going to be push-ups, planks, run, in that order. And for the run, it's going to be a pacer test. So it is just like the Fitness Grand Pacer test. It's a multi-stage, yes, that pacer test that you did maybe back in elementary school, junior high, middle school, maybe for some of you, high school maybe. It's the exact same thing. You have to run a certain amount of laps back and forth, and you'll pass. To be honest, they never told us what the actual amount is to pass, but you will know if you passed or not, if that makes sense. But it is the exact same requirements for your official PFA as far as the push-ups and the plank go. Personally, on my baseline PFA, I got 38 push-ups, I did a minute and 37-second plank, and I did 26 laps on the pacer, which not my best, if I'm being honest. That's pretty much it as far as the PFA goes for that. And your push-ups and your planks really don't count per se, but they do go on your record of your hard card. Yes, it is important that you do your best so that they know how much you're improving, if that makes sense. If you want to slack off, go ahead. It does more harm than good, if that makes sense. So that is the conclusion of P days. You went through all of your shots, all of your medical. I skipped a little bit over dental. Maybe I forgot to write it in. Dental was pretty sweet. They just kind of look at your teeth and determine if you have cavities, if you have a retainer, braces, because yeah, you can braces. I think a permanent retainer is okay, but they just kind of check around your teeth, maybe take some pictures. Really not that bad, nothing to worry about. So that is the completion of P days. That pretty much sums up your first 5 actual days at boot camp. I do not have any insight of actual ROM itself from COVID. I never had to ROM because I was fully vaccinated before going to boot camp. I actually do now know the information. You do have to be fully vaccinated before you go to boot camp, or they will give you the vaccine at boot camp. Definitely still something to research about before you guys go to boot camp, but the vaccine is required. It has been approved by the FDA. It has been approved. for usage nationwide. So it is now mandatory in the military. So if you haven't gotten it, you're gonna get it one way or another, whether you do it by yourself or you do it in boot camp, you will get the vaccine. But other than that, that is the complete end of P-Days. I hope this answered a lot of the questions in your video. If you have any more questions about P-Days, drop them down below. As always, like, subscribe, comment. When you're leaving for boot camp, if you graduated boot camp, congratulations. And if you guys have any more questions regarding boot camp, A-School, feel free to make me a DM on Instagram. I'm more likely to respond to a DM. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.